Because the health and fitness world can get a little crazy, it's time for body kindness. Today we're talking about starting fresh and turning over a new leaf and creating a wellness vision for yourself so you can build habits that last and a healthy, happy life you love. Hello and welcome to Body Kindness, where happiness and health begin by being good to yourself. I'm your host, Rebecca Scritchfield. And I'm really excited. It's my very first podcast, and I have a good friend of mine, Bernie Salazar. Hi, Bernie.
Hey, how are you, Becca? Good to see you.
Good to see you, too. It's been a while. We've lost touch in the last few years, but we're back and reconnected. What's been going on with you?
You know, it's been quite the journey. You and I met after my time on The Biggest Loser. We had done some talks together. We had traveled quite a bit, spread awesome messages. Since then, I have actually settled back into the reality, of what it's like to be healthy out here. And I'm not going to lie to you, Becca, it's been a challenge. It's been a huge challenge. And just so you know, I am a brand new dad. Brand new dad, beautiful baby girl.
Congrats.
And, my gosh. So to go back to what I was saying before, I feel completely lost when it comes to health and this beautiful new responsibility that I have. So I am here to pick your brain.
Okay, well, my brain is available for the picking, but let me ask you a question. I mean, you were on The Biggest Loser, so why are you lost? What happened?
You know, it's one thing, Rebecca, to be able to do it on national television, when you have prize money up for grabs, when you have literally someone who's competing next to you and pushing you in a way that maybe you wouldn't otherwise be able to do on your own. But you come home and let me tell you, you walk into your door and it's crickets, and it's looking for that motivation. It's looking to see, well, what is at the end of this journey? And, you know, the transformation on the show happens so quick that you fail sometimes to really start unpacking what exactly happened and why you even wanted to start that health journey in the first place. So that's been a real challenge ever since I've left the show. And I know that I'm not alone in this. And I know that there's plenty of people listening right now, Rebecca, who, have done it on their own or maybe done it with a group where you just got to a healthier place. And once you're there, we tend to have this feeling of, oh, I've reached this finish line. And then we slowly start reverting back into our old habits. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what happened.
Okay, so that's what has been going on. Then you've been you went on the show. Did you haven't said yet, right? You won, like you were an at-home winner. So share that so people really get.
See, I absolutely adore you. And let me tell you why. You're pulling things out of me. And I know that you can sense this kind of hesitation in my voice because, yeah, I was the at-home winner, lost 130 pounds, brought home $100,000, confetti fell, the lights went up high, and then the lights shut off, Rebecca. They shut off when I came home. And it's funny because from time to time, I still do get noticed. And I'll tell you what, the fans of The Biggest Loser couldn't be just more incredibly wonderful people. But now I find myself kind of saying, no, that wasn't me. That wasn't me. And that's why I thought it was so important when you approached me about this show to really start sharing my story for real. Because I love your approach to health, period. Mm-hmm. I love it. It's all about kindness. It's all about really looking into who we are and why we want to achieve a healthier style of living, as opposed to numbers on a scale or even fitting into, the latest fashion, which, if it's skinny jeans or this or that, let's face it, even if I have skinny jeans on, I look far from skinny.
Well, you talked about my approach, and I think that's a good opportunity to kind of, talk about what body kindness is. And I definitely want to get more back into where you're at. I'm here for you. I'm always going to be willing to help. And frankly, I'm always helping myself too. Like I always tell my clients, I'm a health in progress too. I don't call it work because it's actually fun taking care of yourself if you follow the right approach. And My philosophy and approach has taken a dramatic turn in my life. I was a legitimate card-carrying member, president of the Diet of the Month Club. And even as a professional, I was going on and off diets, trying everything and anything. And really what I realize now is that I was so focused on my body and my appearance. I did this with clients. It was body and appearance focused too. I thought I was really helping them losing weight. I thought that was my job and what it was all about. And, through my own struggles with just realizing it didn't matter if I was up in weight or down in weight, I still criticize myself through taking all the different supplements and diet pills that, really did nothing for me, made my self-esteem worse, not better. All this started for me as a teenager. And, I know, I've told you this personally, but it was like, it took me realizing when my mom almost died, driving her car, almost, killing herself and others on the highway. She had a heart attack and she was, the founder of the Dieter of the Month Club,
Exactly.
So I was looking at this from, wow, her health is in shambles. And she dieted, I'm dieting. This is what I'm doing for clients. I really didn't keep clients for very long because, when they left, they felt they failed and, felt shame and would walk away or, and it just, the light bulbs went off. I was like, I really need to take a critical look at dieting. And I even think that has evolved becoming a mom myself. And I'm sure you can relate as a new dad.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
We got to be a good model for our kids too.
Well, and that's just it. I truly appreciate your approach to what it is to be healthy. So I know there's people out there listening. I see you. Even though I don't see you, I see you. I feel you. If you're listening to this podcast because of how amazing a dietitian Rebecca is, and you're planning on losing weight, like this is a weight loss show, Rebecca, can you clarify for our listeners? Is this a weight loss show?
Well, I'm going to say no because I am a big supporter of the movement and philosophy and approach of health at every size. And I will share that link in the show notes. But if you look at the principles, it really is about respecting size diversity and different weights and shapes. And actually what we know about size discrimination is it's pretty prevalent in the United States, and there's good researchers who are studying weight stigma, and that the more you pressure a person to make a person feel bad about their weight, the less likely they are to engage in healthful behaviors anyway.
See, and don't mean to cut you off, but that's what I wanted to hear, because when you asked me to do this show, that was one of my big concerns. I remember you calling me up, hey, Bernie, I'm going to do this podcast. I really want you to be a part of it. And you know that I respect you so much just on a personal and professional level. And I was like, okay, but let me let you know where I'm at. I'm not that guy that was on the stage with the confetti falling anymore. This is Bernie in reality. And that's what I wanted to make sure I wasn't getting into, people, was another weight loss show. You're inundated with weight loss shows, so that when Rebecca said, no, this is really about body kindness. This is about figuring out and finding your motivation for why you want to live healthier. I was like, sign me up. Let's do this. That's what I'm about. And I want to make sure that everybody out there understands that as well. Now, I know, and I'm pretty sure, Becca, you can say otherwise, but if you're looking for a weight loss show, I know that everything that you've shared with me has led to living healthier, which if you are living life maybe at an unhealthy weight, you're going to see that change if you start to incorporate what we're talking about. But I know that that's personally why I didn't sign on for this. So I'm glad that's cleared up.
Well, this is how I would clarify it. And it sounds like you're already at that place, and I want to get back to you right after we get clarity on this. But it's really not my job to tell people their individual goals. That's up to a person. It's your body, your autonomy, and what you want your goals to be. But I would ask listeners, if you have weight concerns, but you want your health to be about more than weight or shape, you could maybe you're frustrated. Maybe you're just looking to be happier and healthier, but you still want to lose weight. Keep an open mind. Do your best to be nice to yourself and look at the bigger picture. I would really, really encourage you not to follow a diet plan, but to focus on your habits, which is what I hope Bernie, you and I can work on together. We'll get more into that. But if you put weight loss on the back burner, it opens up your mind to focus on other areas of health and self-improvement. You can be more kind and compassionate to yourself because, you know, you have human DNA. You will make mistakes, and it's all about getting back up on the horse again and again. If you focus on your habits and your happiness, they go hand in hand. And I just think with it being a new year, it's the perfect time to just change the way you see things, shift your approach. If you lose weight through this journey, it's a side effect of changing habits. And as you said earlier, that's kind of the problem where you're at right now. If I understand it, you're not at a weight that you think is good for your natural body, but you also saw your habits go from, it sounds like extreme, like extremely bad, extremely good, extremely bad, and maybe even the extremely good was extremely bad. So
Oh, absolutely.
why don't you talk to me about you?
It was like the roller coaster of chub instead of love. Like it's roller coaster of chub. Like that's what I'm going through. But being that it's New Year, Rebecca, and being that I have this beautiful little life in front of me, I want to make sure that I am setting a great example that keeps her away from potential body image issues, but also I want to impart with her what it means to live an active and full life. And where I'm at right now, I don't feel that I'm that example just yet. But don't get me wrong, this isn't all, doom and gloom. I'm not here, to completely do a woe is me thing. I'm here to let you know that I've been on every side of this.
Mm-hmm.
Every side. I have a closet full of different pant sizes to prove it. What I'm trying to say is, it comes a time that you just need to figure out what health means to you, and especially how to get there by being kinder to yourself. Now, I mean that, and one thing that I remember very vividly. We did a lot of talks together, Rebecca, and a lot of people would come up to us and just, share their stories and also compliment maybe me on my journey and my experience on the show. I don't remember one of those compliments. I don't remember one of them. I don't remember a lot of the conversations I had, those really beautiful, positive moments. And it's not because they weren't meaningful to me at that point in that time. It's just that I feel that we as human beings tend to always focus on the negative. That being said, I do remember seeing kind of a bully online. And this particular person was angry at me for some reason, Lord knows why, but he had literally done a little video, uploaded it to YouTube, and at the end of it, and says, "Hey, Bernie, why don't you do us all a favor and just get fat again?" And that was one comment out of the thousands, literally thousands that I was so blessed to meet so many beautiful people and wonderful, genuine people. And it kills me that that one comment stood out and none of the beautiful, wonderful, encouraging, motivational, loving comments
Mm-hmm.
stayed. And that's why, being that it's a new year, Becca,
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure that me as a new father, and the listeners out there, maybe let's try to figure out how we can harness those good things in our lives and hold on to that as opposed to let the negative ones weigh us down, because that's a lot heavier than any weight you're going to carry on your body.
Yeah. And does that still affect you now, or have you been able to like let go of that? Because I mean, people judge people all the time. I wish we live in a society where fat wasn't a bad word,
Yeah.
but clearly there was something in he said that hurt you as if gaining weight would be a bad
Oh,
thing.
absolutely. It's so funny that you looked at it that way, because you know what? That's a new way of looking at it that I hadn't thought about before. But uh, obviously, I still think about it, and I hate to give that person power. And I hate to give his words power. But again, if I'm bringing it up, this has been 7 years since my experience.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I bring it up isn't, again, to draw attention to this individual, but it's to make sure that our listeners out there are on those listeners out there that are on your journey. Let's start being kinder. I know,
Mm-hmm.
let's start being kinder to ourselves so that we can continue living a healthier life without these types of negative feelings.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a question. Do you love yourself?
Good question. And if you, wow, that's pretty powerful. Um, I do. I do. And it's funny how I've answered that. You can tell everything just from the tone of my voice. And I think that I'm going to go ahead and just throw it at our audience for a minute. I'm going to ask them the same question and then I'll get back to me, Becca. How about that? I'd like to ask our listeners out there to think about what Rebecca just said. Do you love yourself? Wow. I do. I'm not always happy with myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not always proud of some of the decisions that I make.
Mm-hmm.
But I do. I do love myself. But like in love, it depends what what time of day you
Right.
catch me. You
Well,
know.
yeah, that is, there's a real reason why I asked. Love is one of our top, in the top 10 emotions that we feel. And it's a very, very, very powerful emotion. And we know it, when we feel love between other people we care about. But we don't often take enough time to think about our relationship with ourselves. And we can say that we love ourselves, but that we don't necessarily treat ourselves in a way that is loving. And love is the foundation of body kindness. And it is crucial. So if your choices come from a place of love, then you're practicing body kindness. The other pillar is connection. So we're going to start setting some goals to carry on, and we'll get into the importance of connecting to your body, basically. So when you love yourself, you're willing to connect to it. You're willing to forge an alliance there between knowing when you should eat, how much, and things like that. And then the third part is caring. And the caring is in the choices you make. And it's realizing that there is no perfect way to be. There's no right or wrong. It's all about being the kind of person you want to be and learning how to like the person you're becoming through daily choices that add up. And I submit that when you focus on something that makes you feel good, that it leads to more positive feelings and energy, and it keeps you going. And then before you know it, you're off to the races, being consistent with your choices, which then leads to the better habits. So,
I couldn't agree more. I know that our listeners can't see me, but I'm definitely shaking my head here. And being that it's a new year, Rebecca, I'm asking, of our listeners, to join me on this journey, whatever it means to them to be healthy. I want us to do this together. If there's someone that you care about, share this link with them, share this story with them, ask them that question that Rebecca just asked me. And I think you'd be surprised to see the response that you get, because I was very surprised to be asked it right now. You caught me completely off guard. But at the same time, it was a question that needed to be asked. So, yeah, let's do this. Let's do this. Everybody out there, let's do this.
well, why don't you share a little bit more about if we're going down the road of habits, and like we'll just kind of go through some of the key things. So, starting with food, is there anything around food that you are looking in this new year to try to enhance or improve or grow around food and your food
So,
choices?
so this new year, being that I have, gosh, I'm just so in love with this child. Being that I have this beautiful baby in my life, I want to make sure that it's not so much about, being afraid or giving negative power to a particular food, but I would just like the quality and the type of my food to improve. Whether it's going to farmers markets, eating more local, more organic, or just getting more fruits and veggies on my plate. I'm gonna start there. I'm not whether they come out of a can or not, Rebecca. At this point, it's so much better than what I'm doing right now. So that's where I'm gonna start. Let's just start by making my plate reflect the person that I want to be.
Okay. Yeah, I think doing a balanced plate is a really great idea. And I have examples of that in the Feel Great Guide, which you can get at my website. It's RebeccaScritchfield.com, and that'll be in the show notes too. And it's a free guide, and that covers food, fitness, sleep, even kindness. So all these different elements that will help give you energy and make you feel healthier and happier just through choices you make each day, and thankfully no dieting required. But go ahead.
Rebecca, I had one more thing. I thought it was really interesting, just the fact that there's so many different types of weight loss shows out there. There's so many different type of healthy this or healthy that. I'm going to give a ton of credit to our listeners because I know that you out there can at least rattle off two or three or four, 10 diets out there or new trends that are happening. But the thing that really drew me to this, being a part of this podcast was, and again, I know we talked about it, but I want to bring it back up, was just that kindness issue because I believe that it was that lack of being not only kind to myself, but truly engaging in kind acts outside of myself that have contributed to me being so off kilter with where I want to be health wise. And again, it was such an experience on that show, and it was such an experience afterwards trying to maintain this image of who I was when in reality I had never really gotten to know who that new healthy Bernie was because it happened so quickly. When you go through that type of crazy up and down, you never have time to internalize exactly what health looks like in your real life, and what things you do want to keep and what things you don't. We have a lot of these reality shows that we're going to be watching throughout this and doing some commentary on, and that's one thing that I want to make sure that we're hitting on is what aspects of what we're seeing is doable, repeatable, tangible, and what might you want to really consider not incorporating into your health journey.
Well, it's interesting. I heard you say, you have to listen to playback, but I heard you say it. You
Okay.
said, coming off the show, you were having difficulty adjusting to who the new healthy Bernie was. But you started out in this podcast talking about how you're not where you want to be. So do you think that the Bernie who won was truly a healthy Bernie?
I do not. And it's not for the reasons that our listeners might be thinking. Oh, he was on this show and oh, he did this and he tried to get down to the lowest weight. I can honestly say that my experience on The Biggest Loser was a great experience. The people that I was with during my season, we did our very best to do it in a safe way. We challenged ourselves because why not? It was a game, a reality show to be played, but I can say that we did it in a responsible way for the most part, other than, hey, let's do a couple extra miles on a treadmill when we're tired. Okay. But, yes, of course I talked about, weight and that I'm not where I want to be. Was I the healthiest at the end of that? No, but at the end of that show, there was a time in between where you and I were doing a lot of work where I just felt so empowered. I felt so empowered because I had, at that moment in time, really figured out what health looked like for me. I was participating in a lot of, you and I, we ran Chicago Marathon together. Guys, she blew me out of the water, but I was there. I was there. So when I say together, I mean, we were there together amid 35, 40, 50,000 people. We were there. but I felt really powerful at that time. And it was a beautiful power that I was feeling because for once in my life, felt like if I wanted to be a part of something, I could be a part of something that my size or my inability to keep up wasn't limiting me. So was I my healthiest at the end of the show? No. Have I felt what it means for me to be at my healthiest? Yes. Am I there now? No. Can I get there again? Heck yeah. And that's why I'm here because I want to make sure that I'm sharing my journey, that I'm hopefully linking it up to the expertise that Rebecca brings to the table, so that we can all do this together.
Well, you've just articulated key ingredients that we need for behavior change. And you need to have hope and confidence because that really fuels an internal motivation. And, we're really only learning what we know about motivation the last 8 years or so. And the two models have always been about, oh, do we do the carrot or the stick approach, and the carrot, look at what you get if you just make these changes, or the stick, hurry up and make those changes.
Exactly.
It turns out that it's not external motivation at all that works. It's actually internal motivation. So you sound ready and excited to connect the dots and be curious about who you are now and who you want to become. And I don't think your weight defines your health at all. I would prefer to just keep it irrelevant and really focus on the voice inside your head, how you talk to yourself, how you treat yourself with your actions, because it absolutely affects your ability to take care of yourself and be there for your wife, be there for your daughter. It affects everything. And that is really where we all need to take an honest look about what we've gotten in the habit of doing and challenge ourselves. If it's not body kindness, we need to rethink the choice.
I agree. I love it. I love it. And that's what I want to make sure that everybody out there is doing as well. I know that I'm taking part in the drop challenge, Rebecca. All right. A
30-day
couple,
drop. Woo,
yes,
woo,
yes,
woo.
yes. But you know what, though? I've been documenting some of the feel good choices that I've been making. And I really enjoy this approach. And I do encourage everybody out there, if you're not signed up, get signed up. It's not too late, but let's go ahead and let's do this. And more than anything, if you have questions along the way, I encourage you guys to send them to us. I think the thing that I'm most excited about, Rebecca, is at this point in my life, having been removed from the show, knowing what it's like every step of the way, I'm excited about the ability now for me to ask the right questions. Period. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm happy about knowing what some of the questions are, and a lot of those questions I personalize now. So you out there, if you're participating in the drop challenge, if you're not, get signed up and let's start really having some meaningful conversations about this.
Well, I'm excited. I'm not letting you fully off the hook yet without setting some vision. We promise that. So I'm going to ask you to think about this more, and but kind of on the spot, I'm going to ask you to complete this sentence. I want to be the kind of person who.
Oh boy, that's a good one. I want to be the kind of person who my daughter wants to take to show and tell.
Ah, so you want people
And
to like you.
and no, see, and I love that you continue to pry into that response because that was definitely off the cuff. But what I mean by that is, I want to be the type of person that she is just so excited to share. And what I mean by that is, nothing to do with the physical. And I'm not trying to be one of these DILFs. What I'm hoping is that what I share with her and what I impart with her throughout this journey that we're going to get to share together, she understands that I've practiced what I've preached.
Okay.
to be a true role model for her. So that's what I mean. It was such a, your questions are killing me here, Rebecca.
Well, that is just one simple way where you can really start to articulate a direction for your values and your goals. There ain't nothing wrong with wanting to be, loved by your daughter. And you will be as a mom of two. I know exactly what that's like, in your sleepless nights having newborn.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that all will come, as your daughter actually gets the lights are on, looks like the lights are on and nobody's home in the beginning, but,
Oh, yeah.
she'll interact more and more, and you will definitely feel that love. I think that she will love you if you are just true to yourself and setting that example. What I would challenge you to do between this show and next week's show, two things. I really want you to come back with some specific goals that you want to hold yourself accountable to. Less the type of goals like what you want to eliminate and avoid, and, nothing really negative, but something that is specific and concrete. I know you just got the Feel Great guide and are working your way through that. So there's some tips in there. You talked earlier about the balanced plate. I think that's a great idea. But really kind of try to bring, what might you want to try for exercise? And we'll talk more in the future about sleep and, because it all works together. When your sleep is off, your appetite's off, and all that stuff.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
So I think those would be some good things to bring back to the next week, so we can kind of check in on specifically what we're working on. And then I'm also really excited to chat in a little bit more detail about the shows that are out right now, The Biggest Loser and My Diet is Better Than Yours.
Yes.
Because people can't help but watch, and it's like we have a little insider information with you.
Exactly. Can't wait to share that.
Cool. And, I just want to say thank you very much for being part of this. And, I'm definitely going to be working on myself as well. And hopefully we can kind of all get in this together and really just, still we want to be healthy. Nobody's questioning that. It is definitely about health, but too much in our society, our health is solely focused on our appearance, our weight and shape, or how intense our workout was or how extreme things are. And I just don't think that is a healthy long-term view. And I think that what you're going through in your own roller coaster ride is a good example of that. And you're not alone. You happen to have your story on display because you were on a super globally successful reality TV show and you were the at-home winner.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have an extra vulnerability, but you're not alone. I see this with clients all the time, friends, and I know you've told me that people have also shared struggles that are similar. So this is about really carving a new direction and focusing on our habits that stick and just letting our weight be the side effect of the habits and, being nice to ourselves for a change.
I dig it. I dig it. Let's do this again. And that's something that I think is a very powerful message that needs to continue to be put out there. So for you listeners out there, let's make sure that that's our approach, that's what we're going to be doing.
So that's about a wrap for today, and we'll be back next time. We're going to be talking about some of those new diet shows that are out. Got Biggest Loser and also My Diet is Better Than Yours, and we're going to check in on our habits.
And not just that, Rebecca put a couple things out there for me. I want to make sure that you're also thinking about what your goals are. I'm not here to answer all of these questions for you guys. We need your input as well. So be sure to tune on in and to also pose these questions. We're at this together, people.